They thought you'd disappear, didn't they? They saw your pain, your struggle, your fall, and they whispered to themselves, "Another one bites the dust." The world saw you at your lowest, waiting, watching, hoping you'd fade away. They judged you, like vultures circling the broken, waiting for the final breath. They thought you were nothing more than a casualty of circumstance. They thought you'd disappear, but you didn't. You've felt it, haven't you? The sting of rejection, that sharp edge of judgment from others, the weight of their expectations pressing on your chest like an anchor, trying to keep you down. You've heard the whispers behind your back, the mocking tone of those who believed they knew your end before you even began. And in the deepest corners of your mind, there's that voice, that persistent, gnawing voice, whispering, "You're not enough. You never were. You're a failure waiting to be exposed." They waited for you to vanish, to crumble under the pressure, to buckle beneath the weight of the world. They wanted to see you fall, to see you dissolve into the background like so many others before you. The world watched and waited for you to fade into the shadows. But here you are, still standing, still breathing. The air around you is thick, oppressive. It presses against you, suffocates you with doubt, with fear, with uncertainty. It feels as if the storm of the world itself has been unleashed against you. Rain pounding, winds howling, and thunder roaring, as if the very heavens are mocking your every step. It's dark, it's relentless, and you are right in the middle of it, trapped in this tempest of despair. You have been there, surrounded by the ruins of your own dreams, standing amidst crumbling structures, watching everything you thought you knew about yourself disintegrate before your eyes. There were times when you thought you might disappear into this storm, become nothing more than an echo of what once was. But here's the truth they never wanted you to realize. The storm can't drown you. The darkness can't swallow you whole. Your presence, though it may feel small in the face of it all, is undeniable. They thought you'd disappear, but you are still here, standing strong, fighting, refusing to be forgotten. And the whispers that once taunted you in the dark, they can't reach you anymore. You've learned to hear the whispers of doubt and transform them into a roar of defiance. You are not invisible. You are not weak. And they, those who thought you'd vanish into thin air, will soon see that they underestimated the force that is you. The world can be a cold, unforgiving place. There's a loneliness that runs so deep, it settles into your bones and weighs down every step you take. A sense of abandonment that wraps itself around you like a suffocating cloak, pressing against you when you need air the most. And you wonder, where is everyone? Why is no one here to help me? You give everything. You pour your heart into your dreams, your goals, your attempts to change. But the emptiness of the world around you is deafening. There's nothing but silence, nothing but the echoes of your own struggle. It's in those moments when you feel like no one truly cares about you, when every action feels pointless, when every voice seems to drown out your own, that the weight of isolation becomes unbearable. You've stood there, waiting for someone, anyone, to notice your pain, to step forward and say, "You are not alone." But no one did. They couldn't see you, couldn't feel the agony of your quiet desperation. The world walked on, indifferent to your battle, unaware of the quiet cries for help that you silenced for fear of seeming weak, of appearing vulnerable. They didn't understand that your pain wasn't just an obstacle. It was the very air you were forced to breathe. The weight of their expectations bore down on you, and it seemed like no matter how hard you tried to rise, you only sank deeper into the mire. There were moments, so many moments, when you looked around, and it seemed like the whole world was mocking you, like every step you took was one too many. Every attempt to push forward felt like a misstep, like a cruel reminder that nothing you did would ever be enough. The world seemed to laugh at your every move, every failed attempt. You fought with everything you had, but it seemed as if your efforts only pushed you further into the abyss. You kept walking, but the road was long, and it felt like there was no end in sight. Can you remember those nights when the loneliness consumed you whole? You laid awake, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep, and the thoughts would circle around you like vultures, endless, gnawing thoughts of failure, regret, and doubt. You wondered if anyone would even notice if you were gone. You asked yourself, would anyone care? Would anyone understand that you were sinking, trying to keep your head above the water, but drowning in the weight of the silence that surrounded you? The isolation wasn't just physical, it was emotional, psychological, a deep-rooted feeling that no one could see the real you, the one battling within. And yet in the depths of this pain, you were not truly alone. This isolation, this emptiness, this dark, oppressive place, it was not just the absence of others. No, it was something more insidious, something far more dangerous. It was the presence of an enemy that took the shape of fear, self-doubt, and the oppressive forces of the world. Fear whispered in your ear, telling you that you were worthless, that you had nothing to offer, that no matter how hard you fought, you would always be nothing. Fear tried to paralyze you, tried to stop you from moving forward, from standing up, from even existing in the world. Self-doubt was another enemy, a relentless force that lurked in the corners of your mind, always reminding you of your shortcoming, your failures, and your mistakes. It never allowed you to forget that you weren't good enough. It took every ounce of courage you had just to silence its voice, but it was always there, just beneath the surface, waiting to remind you of all the ways you would fail again. And then there was the world, the external oppression, the people who told you that you'd never make it, the ones who judged you, labeled you, dismissed you, and decided your worth before they even got to know you. Those who told you to accept your place, to stop dreaming, to stop fighting for something better, because it was too hard, and you didn't belong. You know who they are. They are the ones who tried to define you, who tried to put you in a box, to fit you into the mold of what they wanted you to be. They are the ones who thought your dreams were too big, your ambition too audacious, your voice too loud, and they all wanted you to accept their version of you. They wanted you to believe their lies. They wanted you to give up. They tried to tell you that you weren't worthy, that you didn't deserve success, that you should just accept the hand you were dealt and fade into obscurity. They thought you were weak. They thought you would crumble. But here you are, still fighting, still standing, still struggling, but alive. You've been there, on the edge of the abyss, haven't you? You've looked down into the dark, wondering if it was worth taking another step. You've stood at the precipice, wondering if you were meant to leap, to fall, to surrender to the overwhelming forces that seemed to control your life. The fear, the doubt, the oppression, they tried to pull you under. They tried to convince you that it wasn't worth it, but you've also felt the spark deep inside you, that small, quiet voice that says, you are stronger than this. You are more than they know. You are more than you know. This is where you are now, in the quiet, still moment before the storm, in the silence of your own soul, where you have been fighting for so long, trying to make sense of your pain. But understand this, the isolation, the struggle, the battle against fear and doubt, they were never meant to break you. They were meant to forge you. There comes a moment in every struggle when the darkness begins to shift, just slightly, but enough to catch your breath. It's in the silence, the stillness, when you realize you are still here. After everything you've endured, after all the moments where it felt like the world had broken you, you are still standing. And in that moment of stillness, there's a quiet voice, almost imperceptible at first, but it's there, a whisper that says, I am not finished, not yet. This is the seed of change, a flicker of defiance deep inside, buried beneath the layers of pain and fear. It's the smallest spark, but it's enough. It's enough to light the path forward, enough to remind you that no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how heavy the weight has felt, you are not destined for defeat. You may have been knocked down, but you are not out. And it is in this very moment, at the lowest point, that the process of rebirth begins. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, You must now understand that your pain was never meant to break you. It was the forge that has been reshaping you all along. The fire that scorched you was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to purify you. And in the heart of the flames, you were being remade into something stronger, something that cannot be undone. You are not broken, though the world has tried to tell you that you are, though they've tried to define you by your failures, by your falls, by the mistakes of your past. You are not broken. You are reassembled. Every crack, every scar, every moment of pain, it all adds up to something far more powerful than you could ever imagine. The pain has carved you, shaped you, and now you stand taller because of it. The pieces of yourself that were once scattered are now coming together, and what you see in the mirror is a reflection of strength, of survival. You are whole. You are not the sum of your failures, but the survivor of them. Imagine yourself standing in the ashes of your past, the remnants of who you were, who you thought you would be. The rubble of your former self is all around you, but you are alive. The flames may have burned, but they didn't consume you. They only forged the raw materials that now lie within you. Strength, resilience, power. You stand tall amidst the wreckage, a testament to what you've survived. You are a survivor, and that is where your true power begins. As you look down at the remnants of your past self, you feel the pulse of new life. There is a fire in you now. It burns bright, and it burns with purpose. You are no longer the person who crumbled under pressure. You are not the one who fell and stayed down. No, you have risen, and the ash, they no longer define you. They are nothing more than the foundation upon which you will build the rest of your life. But it doesn't stop there. You are not just surviving anymore. You are awakening to a new truth about yourself, an undeniable truth. You are powerful. You always have been. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a warrior who has been tempered by the fires of life. Every blow that came against you only made you stronger, and now you can feel it. You can feel the power coursing through your veins, the strength that has always been within you, waiting to be unleashed. You are not who they said you were. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not the person who let fear hold you back. You are a warrior. You are a survivor, and it's time for you to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. They thought you'd disappear, they said. They thought you were done, but look at you now. You are learning the most important lesson of all. You are stronger than they ever imagined. You are not a casualty of life. You are its conqueror. Your past does not define you. Your ability to rise again does. Your worth is not measured by your struggles. It is measured by your resilience, by your refusal to give up, by your ability to stand tall in the face of everything that tried to tear you apart. This is your rebirth. This is the moment you realize that the world did not break you. It only made you. The hardest battles are not fought in the world outside. They are fought within, the inner war between who you were and who you're becoming. It's easy to point at the world and say, that's the enemy. That's who I'm fighting against. You can blame the people who doubted you, the ones who laughed at your dreams, the ones who tried to drag you down. But here's the truth. The real battle is not with them. It's with yourself. It's the war inside your own mind. And it's time you faced that truth. There's no escaping it. The internal struggle that gnaws at you. The deep-rooted fears that cripple your every move. The self-doubt that has been planted in your heart like a poison. These are the real enemies. It's not the world out there that holds you back. It's the voice inside your head telling you that you're not good enough, that you will fail, that you have no place in this fight. This voice is relentless. It tells you that you will never succeed. It reminds you of every failure, every mistake, every moment you've fallen short. It whispers, you can't do it. You'll fail again. You're not strong enough. And so, you listen. You hear the whispers of self-doubt and fear, and you start to believe them. You begin to see yourself as weak, as unworthy. You start to feel like you don't have the right to keep fighting. The battle becomes so much more than the world trying to crush you. It becomes you fighting against your own mind. Imagine this. Your mind is a battlefield. On one side, there are your hopes, your dreams, your vision of who you could be. On the other side, there's the darkness, the voice of self-doubt, the weight of your past failures, the fear of what could go wrong. Every step you take, every decision you make, feels like a fight for survival. The battlefield rages inside you, a violent storm of emotions, memories, and fears. In this battle, there's no one else to fight for you. No one else can pick up your sword. No one can silence the voice of doubt but you. And it's a battle you cannot avoid. It's a battle you must face, even when it feels impossible. Visualize it. The mirrors inside your mind are shattered. Each piece represents a failure, a mistake, a moment when you let yourself down. You see those pieces of glass, each one reflecting a version of yourself that isn't enough, that didn't live up to expectation. The storm inside your mind rages. Thunder cracks, lightning strikes, and the weight of doubt presses down like an unrelenting force, threatening to drown you. Yet amidst the chaos, there is something you can't ignore. In the heart of the storm, you feel it. There's a voice that rises above the others. It's your voice. It's the voice that says, I won't be defeated. I won't stay down. Not this time. And from that storm, a warrior begins to emerge. Each time you fall, you rise again, stronger, sharper, unstoppable. The battle may be fierce, but you are no longer afraid. Every time you face the darkness within, you find more power, more strength. You are becoming something more than you ever thought possible. But there's a moment, the moment when the entire fight shifts. It's the moment when you realize that the enemy you've been fighting all this time was never out there. It was inside you. The real enemy wasn't the people who doubted you. It wasn't the world that told you you weren't enough. It was the battle within, the war in your own mind, that was keeping you from rising. And now, as you face that truth, the world no longer seems so imposing. The battle was never with anyone else. It was always you versus you. The enemy was not out there. It was never the people, the failures, the obstacles. The enemy is inside you. It's the voice that tells you that you're not enough. It's the fear that paralyzes you. It's the self-doubt that tries to control your every move. And the only way to win this battle is to confront it, to stand tall in the face of it, to say, I refuse to be controlled by you anymore. The moment you realize this, something shifts inside you. You feel a power that was always there but was buried beneath the weight of your fears and doubts. You feel the surge of strength rise within you. Your weapon, your armor, your resolve. It's time to fight back. And you're not just fighting for survival anymore. You're fighting for your freedom. You're fighting to reclaim your power, to reclaim your life. And in that realization, you become unstoppable. You know that the fight was never about the world. It was always about defeating the enemy within. And now, you've learned how to conquer it. You've learned how to rise above it. And with each victory, you become more powerful, more unstoppable, until nothing can stand in your way. There comes a moment in every battle, a turning point when everything changes. It's that quiet revelation, when the noise of the world, the voice of doubt, and the storm in your mind suddenly quiet, and you hear it, a truth so simple, yet so profound. It shakes you to your core. You realize that the power to change your reality was never somewhere out there, waiting for you to find it. The power was always within you. It has always been within you. You have always had the strength to create the life you've dreamed of. You have always had the ability to overcome every obstacle, to conquer every fear, to rise again after every fall. The only thing standing in your way was your refusal to see it, to acknowledge it, to believe in it. But now, in the quiet after the storm, you finally see it. You feel it, the power that has always been there, lying dormant, waiting for you to awaken to it. And now you're awake. You're alive in a way that you have never been before. Picture this. A storm rages around you, dark clouds swirling above, thunder roaring, the weight of your struggles pressing down on you. But through it all, you stand. You stand firm, even as the world shakes. And then something shifts. The storm, once so relentless, begins to break apart. The clouds, dark and heavy, begin to part. And through the cracks, a sliver of light begins to shine through. It doesn't come all at once, no, it comes slowly, quietly, but undeniably. The storm has passed and the light is now visible. It's as if the very heavens themselves are revealing something to you. The truth. The storm was never meant to destroy you. It was never meant to break you down or bury you under its weight. The storm was there to show you the truth of who you are. It was there to reveal your strength, your resilience, your power. The storm was a test, a crucible, forging you into someone who can stand tall, no matter what life throws your way. It was there to show you that no matter how fierce the winds blow, you will not be broken. The storm cleared the path, and now you can see yourself for who you truly are. The realization strikes you like lightning. You are not a victim of the storm. You are the one who survived it. You are not broken. You are whole, and you are stronger than you've ever known. Every trial you've faced, every struggle you've overcome, has sculpted you into the person you are today. You are the product of your battle. You are the masterpiece created through the fires of adversity. The scars you bear are not signs of weakness. They are the markings of someone who has fought, someone who has conquered, someone who has learned how to rise over and over again. You are no longer the person who crumbled under pressure. You are no longer the one who doubted themselves at every turn. You are no longer the person who let fear dictate their every decision. You are someone new. You are someone powerful. You are someone who has found their true strength. And now, the world will see it, visualize it. You walk into the light. The storm is behind you, and the sun is now breaking through, illuminating your path. You walk into this light, no longer as a broken soul, but as a force to be reckoned with. Every step you take is with purpose. Every breath you draw is filled with the knowledge that you have emerged from the darkness, stronger, more powerful, more certain of your place in this world. You are not just alive, you are thriving. You are not just surviving, you are dominating. You walk with confidence, not arrogance, but with the quiet assurance that you are capable of anything. The struggles, the pain, the suffering, they have all been your teacher, and now you are the master of your own fate. You are no longer the victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your destiny. You have awakened to your own power, and nothing will ever be the same again. It's time to claim your place. The light that you've stepped into is yours. It has always been yours, and now you're walking in it, no longer afraid of the shadows. You've learned that you don't need to hide from the darkness. You've learned that the light within you is stronger than any storm that may come your way. You are no longer the person you were when the storm began. You are the person who has weathered it, and now you stand in the light, ready to conquer whatever comes next. You are unstoppable. The journey you've been on has been long, grueling, and often unrelenting. There were moments when you doubted yourself, when you questioned whether you could continue fighting, when you felt as though the storm would never end. But look at you now. You've walked through the fire, emerged from the ashes, and risen stronger than ever. You have moved from the shadows of doubt to the light of your own power. You've transformed, not just in the way you see the world, but in the way the world now sees you. The doubt that once threatened to drown you has been silent. The voices of the naysayers who told you that you would never make it, they are nothing but distant echoes now. They are no longer relevant to your story, because you have written a new chapter, one where you are the hero. You are no longer a figure shrouded in uncertainty, wondering if you are enough. You are the one who has faced the storm, the one who has triumphed, and you now stand at the pinnacle of your own success, looking down at the world that once doubted you. They thought you'd disappear. They thought you were nothing. They thought you were just another face in the crowd, destined to be forgotten. But look at you now, alive, thriving, powerful, and undeniable. You are no longer just surviving. You have become a force to be reckoned with. You've claimed your place at the top, and no one can take it from you. The doubt, the fear, the struggles, they are all behind you now. You stand tall, a living testament to your strength, your resilience, and your ability to conquer everything that stood in your way. But let me ask you this final question. What will they think of you now? Will they still believe you will disappear? Will they still think you're the person who could be ignored? Will they still think you're someone who would fade away quietly into the background? Or will they look at you and see the truth? Will they look at you and see the unstoppable force that you've become? The world that once doubted you now has no choice but to acknowledge your power. They will see you, they will hear you, and they will know that you are not someone to be underestimated. Your presence commands respect, and your name will echo in the halls of those who once thought you didn't belong there. And so I leave you with this. You are not just alive. You are alive to conquer. You are not here to simply exist. You are here to take what is yours, to claim your place in the world, to leave your mark. You are here to make your legacy known, to carve your name into history with the power of your action, the strength of your will, and the indomitable spirit that no one can defeat. So go forward. Let the world know your name. Let them see the truth of who you are. Let them see the person who has conquered everything, who has risen above all odds, and who is now unstoppable. You've already won. It's time to show the world just how high you can soar. Your legacy begins now.